Guys, today Tower of Fantasy has just launched. Actually, it launched last night at 5 p.m. Pacific time or whatever. But anyways, today's launch day, and people are calling it, and the advertising in China at least is calling it a Genshin killer. Tower of Fantasy's own advertisements are calling it the Genshin killer, which is crazy. This game is a MMO RPG in the vein of Genshin, very similar characters, the anime aesthetic, and the open world sense of things, where Genshin kind of falls in the fantasy realm, and this Tower of Fantasy kind of is in the sci-fi-ish realm. I know it's funny because fantasy, but and this is in the title, but it's kind of more sci-fi. There's a lot of debate going on, right? Online, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, everything. Is this too similar? Is it copying Genshin Impact? Is it this? Is it different enough to play it? Ryder, tell me what we got a little bit here.
All right, so diving into this article from Games Radar, they talk about the Tower of Fantasy developer Hada Studio agrees with the common sentiment that Genshin Impact sets a new standard for the industry, particularly in the gacha space. A representative from the studio told me as much as in a recent interview. I mentioned that Tower of Fantasy has been relentlessly and understandably compared to Genshin, and they acknowledged that. They said, oh yes, that's a question we get asked a lot. Of course, Genshin is a great game, loved by a lot of players around the world, and it's set a new standard for the industry when it comes to the design, narrative, and quality. But of course, we understand that there are things that differentiate us from other games. And they were quick to point out that they have faster combat, MMO elements, an in-depth character creator, social features, and sci-fi setting as key differences. So I guess we can get into kind of like, I saw a video of it, and coming from somebody who's not familiar with this game, but is familiar with Genshin Impact from social media and watching you play it.
Yeah.
There are very obvious similarities with the design and kind of even the color and kind of the choices that they make and the characters, I guess the iconic characters that are kind of the trademark in these games, but like we're talking about with the MMO, that's kind of the big difference, right?
Yeah, so we'll get into some differences in a minute, but like one thing that really caught me, I was like, okay, it looks very visually similar. Like if you were to put two people that are kind of unfamiliar with both, you would absolutely think it's the same game. Like for sure, you would think it's the same game. Even down to UI elements and even like objective markers are like exactly the same. They have sounds in the game that sound similar. Like what happens when you pull up a menu and stuff like that. Like so similar. Everything. Like the distance the camera is kept from the character. Like there's just so much in this game that is similar. But fret not, it's not a copy. It's not a copy. There's a lot of things that they're doing differently from Genshin. I have not been able to jump into Tower of Fantasy yet, so I can't give my first-hand impressions, but I have it downloaded, ready to go, and I can't wait to jump in, because, why not? Yeah. I love it. I loved Genshin. I'm sure I'll love this. So let's get into some specific differences here. This comes from riseupgamer.com, which is a hilarious website name. I absolutely love it. If you're a Genshin Impact player, then you must be wondering if Tower of Fantasy is just a clone, or if you're going to be bored playing it because you already played Genshin and you don't want to play another Genshin. Fair. Also, it's another gacha game, so if you already kind of went all in on Genshin with the gacha, then you might not want to go all in on Tower of Fantasy. Also, it's a lot of money. That just becomes a lot of money. Combat. We'll just go back and forth on these, Ryder. Kind of do the new ones. The combat difference in Tower of Fantasy. So here we go. In Genshin, you run around with a squad, and the people you play as are the ones with the power, and you give them whatever weapons you can find that will help them buff their abilities. However, in Tower of Fantasy, it's more running around alone, and the weapons are the power sets because you pull in the banners for Tower of Fantasy, you're technically pulling for a weapon and not people. So in Genshin, the gacha system is you put in, I don't know how, it's like $10, or they have whatever the pull is. It's like 1,600 primo gems in there. You get a 10 pull, you get 10 items, 10 random items, and you hopefully get a character. Then you can switch that character to play as them. In this game, you pull for those items, and they stick to your characters. You're always playing your character with those weapons and stuff instead of just different characters. So you're always playing one person, which is kind of better in that sense. You're not collecting characters, you're collecting abilities and stuff from that.
Okay. Interesting. That's cool. We also have here traveling and roaming around the map. I was reading this. This is kind of exciting. When it comes to traveling, both have the fast travel system and both have gliders. However, Tower of Fantasy has two additional things. One is the relics that you can equip, which depend on what you can equip and what you can do. There's a turret you can have, a mech that you can ride, etc. And the second is the vehicles.
There's bikes and everything, dude. Like all sorts of stuff. Bikes is in like, motorbikes.
Yeah, that's
floating
wild.
cubes, like all sorts of stuff.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So in terms of character customization, it's very important for Tower Fantasy, and it's not at all for Genshin. So in Genshin, you have a set character, like a set main character, and then you just play as all the characters you earn in the game. And that's kind of like, oh, I have a 5-star this character. I got a 5-star this character, like that kind of thing.
That's the big thing that people care about, right? It's like, which,
100%.
I unlocked this person, or
like I have one 5-star character in Genshin. I got lucky on a pull, that kind of thing. But I was always free to play in Genshin. I never put money into Genshin. So I'll probably try to play Tower Fantasy the same way, because I like to see how much I can get out of these free games without like wanting to put money into it. But in Genshin, you have a set character and various companions you pick up along the way who have their set appearances. With Tower Fantasy, your own character can be customized basically however you'd like within the character creation system, as well as a variety of extra outfits you can change them into. You can change that stuff up even after you start getting into the game, and make it more personalized vibe if you're looking to make it kind of like a role play aspect within the game. So that's interesting too.
We also have world spaces. So the world in Genshin Impact is yours unless you invite someone in, which doesn't really matter if you're a solo player or you want to play with friends. It's very easy to switch between the two. However, in Tower Fantasy, you're in an instance where other players running around in your world. So you can't really interact with them, but you can go traditional MMO or RPG, but you can group up to 2 world bosses. There's group content, and there's even a PvP mode.
Which is tight, dude. I can't wait to do PvP in this game. Now, PvP in a gacha game is always a problem because you have pay to win people. Because gacha is very transparent in the sense that it can be pay to win. You can pay a lot of money, you can get better stuff than someone that's not paying. That's why it's a gacha game. So if someone can pay for a lot of money, they're gonna just roll everybody in PvP. You know what I mean? So that in that sense, it's not a fair balance. It's just not gonna be straight up. So I'm kind of just looking forward for the single player stuff in this. I'll probably check out PvP and give it a shot. I can't wait, dude. I loved Genshin, and if this is like anything captures like the heart of it with new characters and like a fun story, I'll totally be into it.
It's bye Vince, because you're gonna spend all your time playing this game. I'm never gonna hear from you.
Oh my god, maybe, dude. This is the problem. It's a self-control thing. Came out today, downloaded it. I can't play it this week. I got to pack for my trip tomorrow. Like I'm out of here. I'll have to wait till next week.
It's sitting.
I'm gonna be behind.
Vincent, come play us. No.
Exactly. That's how it's gonna go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you're checking out Tower of Fantasy. It is free right now it's a mobile game as well, so you can download it on your phone or on Windows PC from the Tower of Fantasy browser. It is not yet on Steam, PlayStation, or Xbox, but it's coming to all 3 of those platforms by the end of this year, so it's just a little bit later. So enjoy that. It'll be cross-platform and cross-progression as well, so if you can start on your phone, pick it up somewhere else, which is awesome. Love that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch the whole podcast, you can become a member right here on youtube.com/strictlycasual. Check that out. Or you listen on audio platforms as well. Just type in Strictly Casual Checkpoint and it's a little blue box. It pops up. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your time in Gacha Land.